One of the first things that happens every NFL offseason is the brand new head coach hires. And this season, we got 10 brand new head coaches, almost a third of the NFL, which is kind of crazy. Feels like a lot compared to most other seasons. So today, we're going to rank them. We're going to give our ratings and see how we think about all these hires. So let's just hop right into it with the Arizona Cardinals hiring Mike LaFleur. What are your thoughts on that one?
This was an interesting one. It's somebody that I think should have been in consideration for a head coach job for some time now. Didn't really think he was going to end up with the Cardinals. This is it's a not so great situation to jump into. You know, there's really no quarterback. The offensive line's not great. I question a lot of the other skill players as well. If you can keep Michael Wilson, that's great. Hopefully Marvin Harrison Jr. keeps progressing. Trey McBride, obviously a stud, some question marks at running back, but I like him as a play caller. That's why it's always so tough to rank these head coach hires, because you really don't know how they're going to perform as a head coach. Sometimes they're only going to be as good as the coordinators that they can bring in the case of like a guy like John Harbaugh, like we'll talk about a little bit later. But overall, I think I like it because I think he's got good potential, but the situation's not great. Yeah. So it would be tough to see him being so successful early, and the leashes are shorter than ever. I would say maybe B tier. I'm like,
yeah,
I like him. I don't know how successful he's going to be because the spot seems not great.
Yeah, I had him as a B tier too. Again, same thing. I like the coach himself. Like, I think it's a good hire if it's just the coach. With, was it 3 years as the Rams OC, had really good years on the offensive side. It's just, the Cardinals going to be tough. Do you think they're going to stick with Kyler Murray now that Mike LaFleur's there? No, just done?
I do not personally. We'll see if anything changes, but I do not think that he will be a Cardinal.
That's just the tough part then, right? It's like, who's the quarterback of this team? And they're not really in a position to get a quarterback in this draft since there's really only one guy in this draft, right?
I mean, I'll give you a connection here.
Okay.
You know, Mike LaFleur has a brother in the league.
Oh, really?
He does.
Yeah,
head coach of the Packers. And the Packers actually have a free agent quarterback.
Malik
Willis.
Yeah.
So maybe there's some type of connection there that sends Malik Willis to Arizona. I really hadn't considered that until just this moment, but
and we saw flashes of him being really good. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're going to take a shot on a free agent quarterback, Malik Willis is one of the more interesting ones that we've seen in quite a while.
Yeah, I actually really like that shout. I actually don't really know who all the free agent QBs are this year.
Not a lot of great ones, I'll tell you.
Yeah. So Malik Willis, I mean, it's going to be a better option than Jacoby Brissett, who they started for most of the year, right? Over
there is
Murray.
Upside at least.
So, yeah, some upside. He's still, I want to say, relatively young, too, like 27? So,
yeah,
I mean, he's under 30.
Not old.
He's under 30, so that could be an interesting one, but hopefully, if this is if they commit to a longer-term rebuild, I like the B tier higher, but, I like it being more SA tier, but because of the unknown with, how quickly coaches turn over in the NFL, I think B is fair, and you had him as a B too. So
yeah, I don't think we want to say SA tier. I think that could be.
I think just the coach himself feels like a SA type of caliber of a coach.
I'm just saying maybe we shouldn't use the term SA.
Oh, I see what you're. Yeah.
You know,
S tier, A tier caliber coach.
It could be.
But because situation, how NFL head coaches are, B tier. Okay, let's just move on to the next one. I really like this hire of Kevin Stefanski to the Falcons, mainly because I just think Kevin Stefanski is an excellent coach. I think the Browns situation was weird, but I still think they shouldn't have fired him. 2-time coach of the year with the Browns, too. Won a playoff game with the Browns. And I really like this move for the Falcons. Just, again, it's another situation where what are they doing at quarterback? We don't really know, but I have this as an S tier hire. Personally. So I really like Kevin Stefanski as a coach, and I'm kind of glad he's out of the AFC North.
Yeah, I mostly agree. I'm going to throw it an A tier, just being slightly more conservative, and maybe I will be with a lot of my rankings here. I really like Kevin Stefanski as well, and I think he is upgrading by going to Atlanta. The only problem for me is that it's still the same problem he's going to face from Cleveland, which is no quarterback. Because I think Michael Penix is a talented player. He's really inaccurate, and that's a problem at quarterback. And he's way too inconsistent, and he's injury prone
since college.
It's a bad combination of things. So I like Stefanski. I think he's an upgrade. I think he's going to be able to maximize Bijan Robinson, who I think was already, I guess, kind of being maximized post Arthur Smith. But I just think it's tough because we don't know who's going to be quarterback there, really. I mean, there are some names. Michael Penix expected to be, of course, when healthy, but I don't love him as a player. So, again, I think you're still looking for your QB if you're Atlanta, and that's what they were doing in Cleveland. But I think Stefanski is a really good head coach, and I think this is a major upgrade, and it wouldn't shock me to see like a Jags or Bears type first-year head coach boost that we saw in 2025.
And it's not like they have to improve all that much, too. I think they're just out of the playoffs due to tiebreaker last season. And the NFC South just stinks. Let's be real. It's a bad division. They don't like 9 wins. It's going to win you the division there probably next year. So, yeah, I think quick turnaround possible. Quarterback situation iffy. I'm good with A tier. Yeah, I think based off of who else is coming up, I like A tier because I think there's some more clear S tier guys. Hires, I should say. So, and speaking of which, to me, an S tier hire.
Jesse Minter?
Jesse Minter. Yeah, easy S tier. This feels like making up for a mistake they made 2 years ago, letting Mike Macdonald go. So, I like this hire a lot. I'm really, really excited for this hire. And, I mean, obviously, first-time head coach hires are always, you never know. But he's done a great job with the Chargers and keeps that weird like Michigan connection the Ravens got going on right now. But yeah, I like this hire a lot, and it feels like, again, making up for that mistake 2 years ago. So S tier.
Yeah, I think I'll throw it an S tier as well with the same logic. Again, we don't know how the coordinator is going to evolve into the head coach and what that's going to look like. Right. But on paper, if you're going to take it from the point of view of, yep, you let Mike Macdonald go, who is clearly in line for a head coach opportunity. Jesse Minter, if he's going to call defense like Mike Macdonald does in Seattle, I don't see why their defense won't take a big jump up. But it's a similar system that a lot of those players have been used to. So it's still a personnel problem because they don't really have a pass rush. Yeah, you're concerned about the future of Nnamdi Madubuike. So if his whole claim to fame is going to be defense here, what does that look like for the offense? So I'm curious to see what a healthy Lamar Jackson looks like and a new offensive coordinator now that Todd Monken left. We'll talk about him in a little bit. But yeah, I'm bullish on it, and I think the Ravens still are extremely talented. So I'll put Jesse Minter in S as well.
Yeah, as long as they stay healthy, I think this should be a playoff team. And I going back to the Mike Macdonald situation, I get why they stuck with John Harbaugh then. They were in the AFC Championship game. It's just how that game went really annoyed me, and they should have moved on from John Harbaugh then. So I'll leave it at that. We'll talk more about John Harbaugh later. But up next, Joe Brady and the Bills. I really don't know how I feel about this hire. I kind of threw this in C tier. It just feels like they fired their coach, and then they kind of were like, we don't know what we're doing. And then the GM and the owner kind of says some crazy things, just throwing their players under the bus. And then they just promoted Joe Brady. So it feels like I like Joe Brady as a coordinator, but it kind of just feels like they fire Sean McDermott and they're like, whatever. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like, I think it's reminiscent of the recent Penn State situation, which is very different than typically when you talk about a Penn State situation. But they fired pretty good head coach in James Franklin, which I think is what happened with Buffalo with Sean McDermott. And then I think they kind of struck out on who they actually wanted to be their head coach. And it's too late. You can't be like, hey, Sean, come back. That's not really how it works. I do like Joe Brady as a coordinator as well. Yeah. I mean, he's had some awesome success between, college and the pros, but unsure how he's going to translate to being a head coach. But I'm C or B as well. I think it could go higher because I really do like Joe Brady as a play caller and play designer, but it kind of just feels like they're going to keep doing what they've been doing, which hasn't led to much. But I like Joe Brady. I would go B probably. I like him. It's tough with all these coach hires because it's really a guessing game.
Right. And I will say, like, Josh Allen, as long as he keeps doing what he's doing, they're going to be in a good spot. So they need a number one receiver for him, though. But because Keon Coleman, I mean,
and that's a Brandon Bean problem.
Yeah, that's a GM problem. So, and yeah, well, I don't know. I'm not crazy with the Joe Brady hire, like, remotely, but again, good coach. We'll see how it works out. Up next, though, a former Ravens coordinator getting a head coaching job, Todd Monken to the Browns, which kind of came out of nowhere. It seems like nobody wanted that Browns job, right? And then they hired Todd Monken. Another hire where I'm really not sure where I would put this. Like, C. The situation's not great for Todd Monken. How long he's going to be there? He's not the youngest guy, right? Getting his first head coaching opportunity finally. C, and I don't expect much from the Browns. So we'll see how long he lasts there is kind of how I feel about that hire.
Yeah, I'll say C as well for a lot of the same reasons that you did. I like him as a play caller. I mean, I really did like him in Baltimore. I'm rating it a little bit lower because of everything that it means for Cleveland. You know, I wish, given their current situation, they may have taken a shot on a younger guy. And they just said, all right, we're going to bring in a big time veteran head coach that's been waiting for a head coach opportunity. They lose Jim Schwartz in the process, which I think is an incredible loss. So I'm factoring in that with the grade. And I think losing arguably a top 2 or 3 defensive coordinator, if not the number 1 guy in terms of defensive coordinators in the league, it's a massive loss. Now they're still really talented on defense, but part of, talent is letting them play to the top of that ability, the top talent level. And that's being in the correct scheme, in the correct role. And I think Jim Schwartz really maximized everybody there in Cleveland. Helps when you have Myles Garrett, of course. But losing him, I think, really, really sucks. I would have probably preferred to have just kept Schwartz and promoted him to head coach, even though that hasn't worked out perfectly in the past, just so you can keep him with that defense and try to hire a young offensive coordinator that can maybe light a fire under them. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think the Browns are going to do a whole lot because I think the offense is like really far away. The O-line's terrible. So many question marks at quarterback and receiver. It's kind of a nightmare offense. So maybe you're hiring Todd Monken to help those guys out, give them the boost, but it's going to take a lot.
Yeah. I will say it probably wouldn't have mattered who they hired. We probably would have felt the same. It's like the situation is not
a nightmare spot, but their defense is great. That's the one thing you got.
Yeah. So, I mean, which is probably makes sense why they hired an offensive guy, because defense kind of just let Myles Garrett do his thing and things will happen. A hire that I think there's a possibility we disagree on how we feel about this. Clint Kubiak to the Raiders. I want to know your thoughts about him first.
Yeah, I think this is probably a B tier for me. I like Clint Kubiak. The Seahawks offense was so explosive at times over the course of this season. And there were also times where I thought they were over conservative and they kind of were pretty bad. Like, I know it's tough. The Patriots had a good defense, but the Seahawks offense was pretty awful in the Super Bowl. And that's the most recent game we have to go on. And I'm not taking anything away from the Patriots defense, but that's not, I mean, they didn't have an elite pass rush or anything like that. And the Seahawks really still could not move the ball. And I feel like we saw a lot of that, like down the stretch of the season. It was just, here's how great our defense is. And the offense was kind of far away. And when Clint Kubiak is the offensive coordinator, I may be questioning what that's going to look like for a Raiders team that is way less talented that really does not have much in the way of receivers outside of the tight end Brock Bowers. I think he's a great combo with Ashton Genty. The O-line's really, really bad. And then there's like no talent really on defense outside of Max Crosby for the most part. So I kind of just don't think this is going to go that well. Like maybe we're going to assume Fernando Mendoza goes there. Maybe he boosts them up a little bit. But I don't really think the Raiders have a chance to be a playoff team here soon because I think the Chiefs will end up bouncing back. I think the Broncos are absolutely better. And I think the Chargers are absolutely better. So it's hard for me to imagine the Raiders finishing anywhere outside of the bottom, couple of spots in the AFC West for his entire time with the Raiders. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little bit rude here because I think he is okay, but I it's hard for me to find them successful.
Yeah, I think there's going to be people that actually love this hire a lot and like Clint Kubiak. I thought we were going to disagree on this, but yeah, I'm right there with you. B, C, like I'm not moved by the hire. It's probably going to just come down to how good Fernando Mendoza is going to be to see how long this guy's going to be a head coach with the Raiders, right? And I like Fernando Mendoza and Ashton Genty. I like him. Maybe the offense could cook, but again, tough division. I think they're still going to be the fourth best team in that division for a while, just because the other teams are cooking. So yeah, B, C, we'll go with B for now. It could be a great hire. It could be a terrible hire. Who knows? It's tough with these head coaching predictions, right? Next, Jeff Halfley to the Dolphins. And for me, like C, D tier. I don't love this hire at all. His previous head coaching experience was with Boston College, which I get it. It's Boston College. It's not, the easiest place to win out. And he didn't really do that well. I will say, have the Packers defense cooking, right? Like, that's great. But this hire doesn't move me. I'll go C, but it's another situation where, like, what are they going to do at quarterback? You got rid of Tyreek Hill and, who was it? Bradley Chubb, right? They got rid of. It's a full. I guess I should say this about Clint Kubiak, too. If they commit to the longer-term rebuild, it's going to go better for them, I think.
Yeah, I actually really like Jeff Halfley. I think he's got the. I'm trying to choose my words carefully here, but I think he's got the demeanor and mindset of a head coach. I've heard him talk, and I think he's a guy that can command a room, and that's been said. And obviously, he did a great job with the Packers. I think he was pretty successful at Boston College, considering the circumstances, and obviously got, I guess we'll say, promoted to Packers defensive coordinator. I think that's a pretty big job. Yeah. And I mean, I like him. I think he's young enough. I think he is proven enough. It's just the Dolphins is a bad spot with a lot of question marks, and they haven't had the draft picks over the years, and they haven't hit on the ones they have had. And I mean, Jeff Halfley is, pretty reliant on his cornerbacks within his defense, and the Dolphins don't really have any good ones. So, I don't know. I don't know what this team's going to look like next year. This needs to be a multi-year process. I'm not sure that Stephen Ross of the Dolphins, the owner, is someone that's going to give him the chance to be successful. It seems like he's somebody that will do anything to win, as evidence of the Dolphins having their first round pick stripped away. So I don't know what's going on. It's organizational malpractice from the Miami, like, every single year. And Chris Greer is still the GM there, although he's had like no picks to hit on, but that's because, they've been stripped or traded away. It's a weird spot. They've traded away Jalen Phillips. They just cut Bradley Chubb. I don't know who's going to be trying to get after the quarterback, but it's, Chop Robinson and nobody else, I guess. But I just don't believe in the team that much, which means I don't really believe in the hire that much. But I do like Jeff Halfley a lot. I just think it's a tough spot to go into.
And I want to say, like, the Packers defense wasn't that great before he came over, right? And I think they were like a top 5 defense the first year he was there. So
they've had their moments. I think, like, the problem is last year they lost any type of ability that Rashawn Gary had at all. He kind of sucks now. So, and the cornerbacks are not
and
good.
Michael got hurt.
Yeah, Michael Parsons. I don't know. It's kind of a tough spot. Like Keyshawn Nixon looked amazing for a little while and then looked absolutely awful for longer stretches, which is kind of more what we're used to.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And we could very well be like kind of harsh on these hires, and it's mainly because we don't believe in the long-term rebuild happening because the NFL teams just don't really do that anymore. So, but again, who knows what could happen, and I think I would have to say the defense is going to improve, but we'll see about that. All right, your Giants hiring my team's old head coach, John Harbaugh. I would love to hear what you think about this.
Yeah, I'm going to throw it in B tier. B tier is interesting because for some other coaches, I'm ranking B tier for different reasons. But for Harbaugh, I think it is an upgrade. Like he is a proven winner. Now, has not won a Super Bowl since 2012, but I mean, the Giants have made the playoffs like twice since 2012. So this is an upgrade in that sense for sure. And I think what you're getting with John Harbaugh is, I mean, he's obviously not a play caller, but I think he is a culture setter. And I think he hires great coaches around him. They haven't all been big wins because when you're taking chances on guys, sometimes it works out. Sometimes if a former player, it doesn't work out. Rising up to a coordinator job in the case of the Ravens. But for Harbaugh, it was Zach Orr or whatever.
Why didn't they want him, dude?
It didn't end up being great. But I think it's an upgrade, right? I think the Giants just bringing in somebody that is experienced and is a winner is an upgrade. On the other hand, you look at a lot of the blown leads and what seemed to be in the moment, not hindsight's 2020, but in the moment, awful decisions. Like that makes me a little bit concerned, but I think it is an upgrade. I'm excited to see what happens. I think it raises the floor of the Giants, which has been in the basement. So it's an upgrade, at least, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I actually had this more of an A tier hire because I think it's going to get the Giants potentially back in the direction that they should be in, which is winning games, making the playoffs. John Harbaugh's a winner, right? I think nobody can disagree with that. He is a winner. And the good thing about John Harbaugh, which we saw with Lamar Jackson, is he is willing to do whatever it takes to get the best out of his quarterback, right? Like completely change that offense to build around Lamar Jackson, which maybe the other 31 teams would have not done. So this makes me more excited about, the future of Jackson Dart, Cam Scatteraboo, Malik Neighbors. We'll see how it turns out. And he's not the youngest guy either, 63. So we'll see how long he's there. But I actually really like this hire for the Giants overall. The problem is I don't know after the regular season wins what he's going to bring you because the playoff success has not been there recently. And I think I saw this earlier where no head coach has won a Super Bowl with two different teams as head coach. Maybe John Harbaugh breaks that trend.
That's circumstantial.
We'll see. But I actually like this hire for them, mainly because of the disaster hires they've had recently. And I think he's gonna bring more stability to that franchise.
Yeah, I think stability's the important
they
thing.
need it. They need it.
It's an upgrade over. I'll tell you, I feel better about this than the Pat Shurmur or Joe Judge hires. But speaking of former Super Bowl winning head coaches with new teams, what about Mike McCarthy and the Pittsburgh Steelers?
This is going to be the lowest one for me, D tier. It feels like, so originally when Mike Tomlin resigned, I thought it was one of those, he's resigning, like they're letting him kind of go out on his own, but it actually feels like he resigned and they had no idea what to do. I like the story with Mike McCarthy though, right? Pittsburgh guy, he was like in tears, like he's so happy to get this job. So like kind of makes me want to root for him, even though big division rival. I just don't like Mike McCarthy as a head coach at all recently. I don't think the Cowboys run really went that well. The Packers run for like the last like 8 seasons where he was there was not that great in my opinion. It doesn't move me. It feels like it honestly feels like a downgrade to me over Mike Tomlin. And Mike Tomlin was going to get you into the playoffs almost every year. So D tier for me. I don't like it.
I'll put it in C. I feel similarly to this as I do about the John Harbaugh hire, to be honest. I think Mike McCarthy would raise the floor of pretty much any team he goes to. He's another guy that is a proven winner. Like, I feel like it's almost an identical type of hire to a John Harbaugh, except I think the Steelers are better than the Giants are right now. So I don't see any reason why they're not going to compete to be, AFC North division champion next year. Do I think the future outlook is amazing? I think factoring in age and also some boneheaded decisions from Mike McCarthy, like it's hard to fully believe in that, but I feel pretty similarly to this one as I do about the John Harbaugh hire. The only thing is I think the Giants needed a floor raiser, and I think the Steelers, like the Browns, may have been better served by taking a big shot on a guy, because I think they do kind of need to rebuild and get kind of some fresh ideas in there. And instead they're just going to try and stay where they've been and try to, go from a C or B tier team up to an A tier team. And they just have not been able to make that jump in quite some time.
Yeah. Do you think this was a move to hopefully keep Aaron Rodgers around for another year?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And I do think he's going to be the QB in Pittsburgh in 2026. That's what I think.
Bridge QB and bridge coach? Maybe.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, they should at least be competing for a playoff spot, but I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. And then I think this is the last one here, right? Robert Salah with the Tennessee Titans. I like this hire, and I actually like it more because of who they brought in for OC. I hope they commit to a long-term rebuild with Robert Salah, because I think he's an excellent defensive coach, and bringing in a top offensive coach in Brian Dable is going to really do wonders for that franchise. But the team is bad. Clearly, the team is really bad. But Cam Ward looked promising last season, so I like the hire. I would put this B-ish tier, maybe closer to A, but I'll throw it in B tier for now.
Yeah, I think I'm right there as well. The thing is, like, I do have a bad kind of taste in my mouth from the whole like Robert Saleh Jets regime, but again, it's like it's another
Jets.
Organizational malpractice type of place, and it's tough to say, okay, how much of this was the fault of Robert Saleh, how much was the fault of Woody Johnson at the top, and the GM. Obviously, like, they've had some turnover there now, but Joe Douglas was there for a while and just could never really seem to put a good enough roster together for the Jets. I question the stability of the Titans with all the GM and coaching turnover that they've had. I don't know what the leash is going to look like for Salah, but
yeah,
I don't really think they've got a clear path to being that successful. They have some talent, but they've got a lot of question marks, and it seems like I'm kind of ranking these based off of what I feel about these teams more than just the head coach, but
you kind of have
plays a pretty big factor.
You kind of have to
me. So yeah, I'm like a little lukewarm on this. I don't really think the Titans are going to be competing for the division title in the next year or two, but hey, we'll see. I think if he can upgrade that defense, it's going to be a huge, huge start to moving in the right direction. And, hopefully Dayball teaming up with Cam Ward can make something happen. But the roster's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
But I think Salah's a good guy for the job, but I got a lot of question marks.
Yeah. I mean, it's always hard to see the future, right? Predict the future, because clearly these teams are not great if they're hiring new head coaches, right? So we're kind of based off like, oh, this team is bad. Even though some teams are in a better position than others, there's reasons why they hire new head coaches. Who do you think has the best shot at succeeding outside of who we put in the SA tiers? A tier, S tier.
I don't know. I think Joe Brady maybe, because he's got Josh Allen to begin with.
Right.
I think that's a pretty good leg up. And the Bills roster is not that far away. Like the O-line's good. The quarterback's awesome. The running back's very good. I think Khalil Shakir is an awesome, like, number 2 type of guy. And they've got some talent on defense. Not enough, but definitely have some talent. So, and also the AFC East, I think, is really weak. I don't believe in the Jets or Dolphins right now. And
Patriots
I know the
take a step
Patriots
back, right?
were just in the Super Bowl, but I don't think they're that type of team. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. But if the Patriots play in the Super Bowl next year, I would be surprised.
Yeah, you don't know ball, dude.
I know, but I would be surprised.
Yeah, I'm with you.
They got to do
Joe
a lot
Brady.
for that roster still.
Joe Brady, just because they have an MVP quarterback. I think that makes sense. So, and then real quick, I want to ask one hot seat guy for this season. I know we're talking about new head coaching hires, but maybe somebody that gets fired this season.
I mean, it's tough to not just go straight to the obvious, like Aaron Glenn. If the Jets are completely deplorable again, I think Aaron Glenn's going to be gone. And I think the Jets didn't do enough to look like they were even like taking any steps in the right direction. They were completely awful. So I think that's clear.
Yeah, that's an easy one. How about Todd Bowles?
Yeah, I mean, Todd Bowles, I was kind of surprised he wasn't fired this year.
Yeah.
But the Bucs, I guess, are still on the edge of good enough. And the NFC was really tough.
They almost made the
NFC
playoffs.
was really tough this year.
Yeah. So, all right. So always hard to rank these new head coaches, but there's some exciting hires, and it's always fun to see like these first-time head coaches and see what they can do. But a lot of times, we just really don't believe in that long-term rebuild happening. Like, we don't believe that these teams will believe in the long-term rebuilding. They want results instantly, instant results. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Like the video if you guys did. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future videos. And comment down below your guys' favorite hire of the cycle, and also your least favorite hire of the cycle. Let us know in the comments. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.